Jeff Smith. How are you?
I'm good, Shay. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah, I know. Nice to see you as well. Thank you for having time for me today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I really wanted to invite you to the conversation here on on my podcast because most of the conversations these days are just so heavy, and I just feel like you're the epitome of like a cool career. So let's just talk about you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the Cool Careers audience?
Okay. My name is Jeff Smith, and I am a model agent. I've been in the business for almost 30 years, and
Wow.
originally from Louisiana, but I've been in Texas, been in Houston specifically for almost 30 years because I basically came here, went to school, and was hired within a year. So my whole time here, I've been in this same career.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what firm are you with right now, or what agency are you representing at this particular time?
I'm with the Naturally Fit Agency, which is a fitness/lifestyle agency. We represent kids all the way up to adults in both the fitness and the lifestyle area.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm doing a mom plug here. You're a Mason's agent.
I sure am. Happy to have him too.
Yes, we're happy to have him in it. He really enjoys it still. So we'll see where it goes. Well, why don't we talk about because what I like to do is I kind of emphasize with individuals about their career and about networking, connections, and that sort of thing. So first of all, you and I go way back. And I want to say about 10 to 15 years now, when we used to have like big parties at Lori.
Yeah, at least 10, I know, at least.
I mean, I know now you're a Mason's agent, but the relationship started years ago over drinks, I'm sure, and lots of fun.
Oh yeah, always.
Hello, Lori. I have a promo, and I have lots of videos, and everything is at Lori's house and building. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a good mutual friend, because I know you guys are good friends as well.
Yeah, and actually, Lori started out as my assistant.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's how I met Lori. She was my assistant for 2 years.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, she was, and we just connected and clicked, and and stayed in touch, and then eventually became. Lori's probably one of my better friends.
Yeah.
One of my best friends. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all have like a little. Maybe you can plug it later on. I think y'all have follow yourself.
We do reviews.
I love her humor. She could definitely be a Saturday Night Live. I always said that.
Oh no, she's got such a dry wit.
I love it. And we just cackle and just giggle when we're together. We don't have to even be drinking. We're just having such a great time.
Right. Yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone how networks and connections have really helped you in your career?
Okay. Well, actually, my career started because of a connection, actually. I decided a little bit later in life, I was 30 years old, had been in a kind of a dead-end job in Lake Charles, where I was from. And basically it was a job. It wasn't a career. It was just a job. But I was always interested in the fashion industry and modeling and all that sort of thing. But I didn't know what careers were even available, to be honest with you. And I really wasn't thinking modeling. So I thought, well, what behind the scenes could I do?
Yeah.
Thought about photography, that kind of thing. Well, I took a weekend. Is the best way to look at it. Decided to come to Houston, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to
the big city.
I'm going to find a job in the big city. And I actually went to the Art Institute. Was having an open house, and went to the Art Institute, and they had a fashion program, a fashion merchandising program, and went and spoke with them. And I was like, that's it. That's where I need to be. But originally, I thought I wanted to be a buyer because love shopping. And in my little naive mind at the time, I thought, well, that's all it takes.
that's
just love to shop, and you can be a buyer. And I even knew that I wanted to be at Nordstrom. So that's how, and so I went thinking I was going to, and I took my first buying class and was like, yep, not for me. Why you needed $400,000 to buy V-neck T-shirts in every color. I was like, I don't care. That's just not something I want to do. And this is where the connection comes in. So on the board of directors at the Art Institute at the time was a man named Neil Hamill, who had a modeling agency. And he came and spoke to one of our classes. And as he's talking, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that's it. That's what I want to do. And so just so happens we had a break after that. I don't know, it was an Easter break or I don't remember what it was, but we had like a break for a few days. And when we came back from break, my counselor called me in and she said, I've got a great opportunity for you. Neil Hamill is doing a model search with Ford models out of New York. At the time Neil Hamill agency was the only agency that Eileen Ford would work with. And so they were doing Supermodel of the World, which was almost like a pageant for models. And as it turned out, this was going to be the last one. And so they were doing it. They were coming to Houston to look at girls here. And I interned at that show. And I was standing backstage talking to the models and stuff. And then all of a sudden he walked back and said, okay, I'm going to need you to get the models in order and get ready for the lineup. And I was like, wow, like this is the real thing. So I don't know what clicked in me, but I ended up just taking over. And it was very natural. And I had such a good rapport with the models. And so we did the show, went off without a hitch. And that was kind of my first experience with it.
Okay.
I didn't get directly into modeling at that point because Bill Reed, there was a magazine here at the time called Ultra, but he was a former fashion editor of British Vogue. And he had come to Houston because he wanted a, easier life, a smaller life, so to speak. And so he came to Houston and was fashion editor of this magazine. Well, he was at that show. Mm-hmm. And so after that show, he called the Art Institute and asked if I would be his intern for this fashion magazine. And then for a PR company. And so that kind of got me more involved. So as it turns out, 6 months before I graduated, Neil Hamill asked me if I wanted to work part-time at the agency as a wardrobe stylist. And then when I graduated, I had a job already waiting for me. And that was the beginning. Yeah, that was the beginning of my career. And it all started because that he happened to walk into that classroom one day, because he was on the board. So the networking came to me, actually, which doesn't happen that often. But
you're just a special, you have a special situation. Wow.
I did. And I'll tell you what, here's the thing. And, I always tell people it's never too late to go back to school because I was 30 years old in these classes at the Art Institute with all these 18, 19 and 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
But because I already had 10 years of life experience and in my mind, this was my last shot.
Yeah.
So I was so serious about it. I excelled in everything. I even got a scholarship while I was there because I think that helped me to stand out.
Yeah.
Because I was taking it serious.
You were focused.
Exactly. I was focused. I knew this is what I wanted to do. Right. It's like, dude, you're 30 years old. You better make this one work. And
this was your Eminem moment.
It was. It
Yes.
It absolutely was.
I love it. That's a great story.
Yeah. So that's how the whole thing came about.
So would you say you were mentored here into this role? And
oh, absolutely. So Neil was very hands-on. He would go into the agency every day. And so I started out doing wardrobe styling. Then I became what's called the New Faces Director. And basically, as new models would come in, I would help them get their pictures and, put their books together and stuff like that. Well, Neil decided to sell the agency.
Oh,
and
okay.
Because he was actually going to work for the Fords in New York. And so he came into my office one day and he said, I'm going to make you a booker. He said, because I want you to be in that position when the new owners take over the agency. And so for that last several months before he left, I worked with him in the booking room side by side. And so to be not only mentored, but to be trained in the business by the owner of the company.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was invaluable. I mean, it was priceless what the information and the experience I got. So when he sold the agency and the new people took over, I was already a booking agent. And I was there for 13 years before changing, and going somewhere else. First time 13 years. And so people already, it was kind of intimidating, but kind of flattering at the same time, and that he was a very big deal in the modeling industry, and still is to a degree, even though he's not in it anymore. So to be trained by him specifically, I already had a rapport with all the clients. I would get on the phone and talk to, whether it was someone from Neiman's or Saks or, that. And they would even tell me, oh, you're the guy Niels told me about. So it was amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, he mentored me, helped me. To this day, I tell anybody that he pretty much alone is responsible for my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it sounds like you're a star.
well, I don't know about that. I am in my own mind. No. The thing is, Shay, I think what set me apart from other model agents is by the time I got into the business, I wasn't, caught up in the fluff and the image. And, there were people who were all about being a model agent, and because everyone on the outside thinks that's the coolest job ever. Oh my God, you're at parties and around models all the time. And that's a small aspect of it. Well, at 30 years old, I was like, I'm going to make this my career and I'm going to excel at it. So for me, I was much more business from day one.
I see.
And I think if the word star even applies, I think that's why. I think that's what set me apart. It was all business for me.
Right.
We do the parties and and schmooze and do all that, and that was fun. But then in the day, it was like, look, this is a business. Let's have a relationship, and let me make you successful. You make me successful. And the other thing I think that had me stand apart was I cut to the chase. I'm very specific. Oh yeah. And that's something that people at some points people necessarily didn't like but appreciated, because
it's refreshing. No, it really is. It's really refreshing for people to tell you exactly what the expectations are.
Exactly.
And so that's either something that people really appreciate or they don't appreciate. And I don't think we're in the middle.
And I think people that don't even, maybe people who aren't used to that type of honesty, sometimes it takes a while to process it, but I think at the end of the day, they still appreciate it.
Right.
Because this is a business that there is a lot of smoke and mirrors, know, and I can package it in this pretty little package with a big bow that makes it sound just incredible. But at the end of the day, that's not all there is to it. There's a lot of sacrifice that happens. There's a lot of, of moving around of schedules. You have to, make sure that you physically are in the best you can be. Your skin, your teeth, your hair, your body, everything, has to be a certain way. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And there's a skill level that a lot of people don't realize there is. And so when I talk to you about Mason, it's like, okay, these are the things we're looking for.
Yeah.
These are the things that you as the parent are going to have to commit to. There's a lot involved. And I'm not going to be that guy that 3 months down the road, somebody comes to me and says, why didn't you tell me all this? Like, this is not at all what I thought I was getting into. No one can ever say that I didn't do that, And I even had a booker that I worked with who called me the Simon Cowell of the modeling industry. Because everyone else was like, oh my God, she's beautiful. Oh my God, I love her. And I was like, I don't know. Her ears stick out a little bit too much for me.
That's hilarious.
But I just used my experience in the business, and as you know, and as I've told you, no one can ever take this personal, because it's not about who you are as a person. It's about who you are as either a model or an actor. And so the reason I can sit here and say things like, well, I think her ears are a little too large. I'm going by what is expected in the industry. That's not my personal opinion of her.
Right.
Right. And so when people would say that to me, wow, you tell people that? I'm like, I'm not telling them anything that a client's not going to tell them, because you get talked about like a product.
Right.
I mean, that's what models are.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've got the right enough energy and the right enough drive. And it sounds like this is why you've been so successful. Now, because it does seem, like the perfect job and the perfect opportunity. Have you had any, like, what you feel like are pitfalls or stagnations or any pauses in your career that could possibly help someone on how to handle it?
Yes, absolutely. It's basically, as an agent, you're a liaison between a client and a talent, whether it's a model or an actor. So being the person in the middle, you've got to handle egos on both sides. You've got to handle drama on both sides. You've got to be the buffer between the two. And so it takes, excuse me, it takes a lot of people skills.
Yeah.
Because you're somebody for the models and you're someone else for the clients. And at the end of the day, they're both important, because without clients, I don't need models, but without models, I'm not going to get clients. So you've got to keep everybody happy. And so for me, to be honest with you, the biggest challenge for me from that aspect was patience. Because I'm a very, and this has every company I've worked for in this industry, my communication skills have always been my best and worst attribute, because I think because I'm able to get to the point and tell you what I expect from you, and this is what you can expect from me, I think everybody's ready to hear that, and not everyone is ready to hear that.
Right.
And so what I learned working at a corporate office for a retailer, on the opposite side of my business, I learned that you have to basically fill out who your audience is and talk to them in a way that's going to be best received.
Okay.
Where for me, I was like, we're all adults. This is what I need to say to you. I expect you to receive it as an adult. Well, no, that's not how it works. Right. So that's been a challenge for me personally. And I think that's the challenge with anyone getting into this business is, not only, everyone thinks, oh, well, this is my job and this is what I've got to do. It's like, no, you have to juggle. At one point in my career, I've been mom, dad, priest, girlfriend, boyfriend,
counselor, right?
They're the one, it's a relationship. It's a relationship like any other, and the relationship with talent and agent, there's got to be complete trust on both sides. They've got to trust that I'm looking out for their best interests, and I'm going to send them to things that are actually legitimate, that they're going to be safe, that they're going to, make the amount of money that's worth what they're doing, that they're not going to get taken advantage of. Then on the client, they've got to be able to trust that I'm going to get them the best talent that's for them. I'm going to make sure that the models or the actors are there on time, are prepared and everything. That's a lot of pressure from both sides.
I see. So your whole job is relationships.
Absolutely.
Like you got to find, what I hear you saying is you got to find your audience and speak to that audience.
Correct. Because it's never the same. And on one hand, I'm dealing with parents like yourself. So I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm dealing with adult models as well. And that's a whole different dynamic.
Right.
So, so I would say that, that's probably the biggest challenge. And along with the fact that, modeling is cyclical, like a lot of other businesses. And, you've got a model, I've got models that have done, I had a model here late last year who booked 7 out of 7 jobs he went on. So for a 2-month period, he was working all the time and went 3 months without another job.
Okay.
So he was calling me on a regular basis, because it's, he's
models, like, what's going on?
Yeah. And models are, what's crazy is models are they have to be very confident in who they are, because they're judged on a daily basis. Not only, you and I, if we go into a job interview, we're judged on our resume, on our experience, on our personalities. If that interviewer is following the law, he's not judging you on the way you look. Well, add the way you look to the list of things that people are judging you on, and that's a model. Right. So now all of a sudden it's
everything matters.
Everything matters. And we are probably more insecure about our physical appearance as humans than we are about anything else. So, people would say to me, are models arrogant? Attractive people must, they just assume because they're attractive, they're arrogant. And this is how I always break it down. There's a thin line between arrogance and confidence.
Right.
And models.
It's hard to decipher.
It is.
When you look perfect.
Exactly. And the assumption is you're arrogant because you look perfect.
Right.
And so a lot of times they're walking that line because they've got to be confident enough to walk into a room and have someone say to them, oh, you look way better with short hair.
I see.
And not take that personal. You can't take it personal. So there's a lot of that. So subsequently, models are some of the most insecure person I know, that I know, people that I know, because it's always about the way they look. And they always have to look a certain way.
That actually brings me, I'm glad you're bringing up this point because I'm sure you've been told you're quite a handsome guy.
Well, that's really sweet. Probably not as much as you think, but that's nice.
Now, how does being beautiful help you in your career? Do you feel like people listen to you more, or do you feel like you've been more successful? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, thank you for one. I appreciate that. That's a compliment. I don't necessarily think when you're in the industry, on the backside of the industry, that you have to be beautiful. I think you need to represent your industry.
Okay.
So I think it's more important to be a package. In other words, for me, I have to be up on everything fashion all the time.
Okay.
And so the way I dress, the way I present myself, absolutely is important.
Okay.
I don't think it's as much about physical beauty as it is what you do with the beauty that you do have.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, the models are going to be the beautiful ones in the room. Okay. But it does help, and it's funny that you kind of bring that part of it, because so many agents and photographers are former models.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you have that, you go to a fashion party, or you go to a photographer's party, or you go to it's going to be a pretty crowd, because you've got models, you've got photographers that were models, you've got agents that were models, and then everyone else is trying to put off that same look. So most people are dressed stylish, gray hair, they take care of their skin, because on the backside of the business, I can't exactly like right now, I work for an agency that has a large fitness division. How is it going to look if I'm interviewing fitness models and I'm telling them what they need if I'm completely out of shape?
I see.
Could I still do it? Yeah, because it's what's in here. But at the same time, am I more believable if I'm in decent shape, or if it's a fashion agency and I'm dressed a certain way? Am I more believable? Absolutely. Because people coming into this business expect that image, But it can be said for attorneys. When an attorney walks into a courtroom, if they look the part, they're going to be more believable. If they're attractive, it does help. I mean, let's be honest. But one thing that I think that a lot of people don't realize is, not only do people think that attractive people get more opportunities, and I think in certain areas, absolutely they do. I think the door opens easier for attractive people in certain areas. But what people don't realize is people also expect more from attractive people, because they want what's on the inside to match what's on the outside. So whether it's the way
they got to deliver, you're saying.
You have to deliver, or else it's a letdown. It's like walking up to a Ferrari and opening the door, and the interior is an awful color. You're like, ugh, well, that ruined that car. It's the same kind of mentality. And attractiveness in humans is innate, to be attracted to pretty things. There was a study done where they put babies on the laps of their mothers at, I think it was 12 to 18 months, and they hooked up monitors to them, and they did two groups, and it was just a monitor of pictures of people, just headshots of different people. It ran the gamut, and they found out that the baby's brain was more stimulated every time an attractive person's picture was shown. So, but think about it. You're looking at a home. You walk up and the curb appeal on one home is beautiful and the one next door not so much. Which one are you going to like? Yeah. So that, believe it or not, that's in the modeling industry, which is why people are caught up on the way people look, because it's all about attractiveness. So yeah.
Has the Instagram modeling changed real life modeling? Or are you guys still like the standard to
Uh, uh,
Is that the sore
does that
subject?
give you any
Okay, as
idea?
brief as possible.
Yeah, it's like, no, yes, it absolutely has changed things.
Okay.
Because clients now don't know how to separate the true modeling industry from Instagram.
I see.
Yeah, and there's a lot of differences. We have been doing this, modeling's been around forever, and there are guidelines within, within the modeling industry. Like, I'm not going to put up a picture of a girl on my website that's been so photoshopped that you won't recognize her when she walks in the door. Welcome to Instagram.
Right.
What they don't realize is by the time you see that photo, how many filters, how many Facetunes, and how many selfies it took before you actually arrived at that photo. And just that, for instance, compare it to the modeling industry, where models in the modeling industry are booked on how many good photos they can give you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a client and I book a model and I'm paying her by the hour, the sooner I can get a great photo on her, the less I have to pay her. So it kind of goes completely against the modeling industry. I'm looking for people that naturally photograph well, that are comfortable in front of the camera, so that photographer gets as many great pictures as they can. Where on Instagram, I'm just looking for the one great picture that I can give you without knowing how many it comes. So there's that. There's also Instagram models are concerned about their brand.
Okay.
My job as an agent is not to build up an individual model's brand. It's to get the perfect model for a client. So my job works a little differently in that I make money when the people I represent make money, because every agency in the business that's legitimate makes a commission off of every dollar that their model works. That's how we make money. So my job is to get as many models working so that we make as much money as we can. They make money, we make money. Everybody wins. Instagram is a different thing. It's more about building their brand so they can be a spokesperson for whatever product and post that one photo. So the dynamic, the thinking behind it, everything is different. And the one thing I do, because I've got models who are influencers as well.
Right.
And
Okay.
Yeah. In this market, which our base is in Austin, which is where our home base is. Our main office for Naturally Fit is in Round Rock. We've also got an office in LA and a new one in Chicago. And just to show you the difference, LA, which was on the forefront of Instagram, branding, influencers, they were really, it was everyone out there because it was something that started with celebrities for the most part.
Right.
And here it's not as much. So for me, social influencers are not that important, but I do have some that do it. And it's funny because I will get submissions into the agency, and rather than say, hi, I've always thought about modeling, I'm a former athlete, I think I have the qualities that it would take, I get a submission that says, hi, I want to build my brand, and so I thought that this would be a way to do it. So those are the two different things.
I see.
Yeah, for me, the goal is get as many models working as possible to make as much money as I can. Instagram is, let me make me as famous as possible. So that's the two main differences. Yeah, and it's really we've had to change the way we do things because we're basically fighting Instagram, to be honest with you. It's actually a competitor for us.
Really?
Yeah, more than it does ad. Now, our agency in LA has a large social influencer division because, again, it's LA. And clients will call the agent there and say, I'm looking for 4 models that have a following of at least 50,000 each, because this is what I want to do. And she works out a schedule and a plan. Well, any of the clients here that want to deal with influencers, they're going to call them directly. So it's a bit of a competition. So I'm actually, Naturally Fit is competing with some of their own models on Instagram, which is kind of hard to wrap your, wrap your brain around. But I don't know of any agent that loves Instagram. And you just have to deal with it. The business has changed, and we just have to, move around it. So
why don't you tell everyone how they can join your agency, how they can apply, how they can get to see you? Because I know you do modeling. I know you do lots of different things. So why don't you give us a little information and tell us a little bit how Naturally Fit is a little different from everyone else.
Okay. Well, first of all, in order to, we do have a website, which is naturallyfitagency.com. And you can go to our website, and I encourage people to do that are interested, because agencies in the state of Texas since 2011 do not have to be licensed. Model agencies, nor, most people don't know that. So basically anybody can open an agency and say they're an agent. And so I tell everybody, do your research. So I tell people, go to our website, look at the models, look at the contact us information, do your research, Google me, Google the agency, go to our Instagram. One of the things we do specifically is our Instagram is @naturallyfitagency. And one of the reasons that we have our Instagram, for the main reason, is because we do shout outs to every model that we sign. As they book jobs, we do shout outs to them for their job. And then I also have the models on their jobs, if the client will allow it, to do behind the scenes videos and
nice.
So that will tell you as a parent, say, who's wanting to get your child in, okay, they actually have models that work. These are some of the clients they work for. So it does give a legitimacy to us. I see. Now, are you looking for anything special right now? Or do you have, a type or a thing that you need, Yes. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. We have a fitness division and we have a lifestyle division. And the two differences are fitness, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Clients like Academy Sports and Outdoors, Adidas, BSN Sports, Nike, Champion Tennis Wear. I mean, it runs the gamut. So in that division, I look for people that, anywhere from the mature woman who does Pilates 3 days a week to the guy that is in the gym 6 days a week, to a semi-pro basketball player, to I've got former NFL football players. So we run the gamut when it comes. Anyone that has a fitness lifestyle or a fitness background is what I'm looking for. And so I really am trying to build at the moment high school athletes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm really lacking at the moment, is high school athletes. So anyone out there that's, got a high school athlete, and you have to be playing competitively. The caveat is you can't be looking at scholarships because they won't allow you to work in your sport.
I see.
Yeah, but
So young enough to be in high school, but not old enough to be on the spectrum of, a scholarship to go to.
Right. Or people who, have decided, maybe are really good at the sport and have played it up to their senior year, but then decide they want to go a different direction after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm also looking for seniors in the fitness area.
You mean senior, like over 65?
Actually, yeah. I'm even looking at 50 plus, but true seniors 65 and up. But yeah, anywhere from like 50 to 70, 75. And you don't have to obviously be a 25-year-old fitness model at that point.
Okay.
But someone who's in good shape, who likes to work out, who has a more of a healthy lifestyle. So that's kind of our fitness area. Then in our lifestyle area, that's anything from car commercials to hotel brochures, to online videos. We just had a job yesterday because clients now are having to redo things a little because of our current situation.
Right.
And I had 6 models who did a video, self-tape video from their home, and that's going to be used in the commercial. And it was a political commercial that's going to air during the elections. So, it runs the gamut in the lifestyle division. And then for lifestyle, we've got same thing as the other division. We've got kids all the way up. And in that division, I'm really needing 50 to 75 as well in that division. Okay. And that's just for, any seniors, or anyone who's maybe even in their 40s or 50s, but is starting to gray, or that kind of thing. I definitely
You're looking for a seasoned individual.
Correct.
Okay.
And they can go to our website. Again,
I actually know someone.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Most of my models come from referrals.
yeah.
Yeah, if, people that are in the business. But yeah, they can go to naturallyfitagency.com, and there's a section called Apply Today. You click
Okay.
on that link, and it will take you to a submission form, and you upload a photo that shows your face and body, and it can be in, t-shirt and shorts, and something that shows you really good, big smile, and you can submit that. And then we go through those submissions, and then we follow up with either more photos if we need to see more photos, or I do a phone interview from there.
Well, this is going to be exciting to a lot of people.
I
Really,
hope so.
because I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy, busy, busy. Is what I heard you saying is there was a lot of virtual interviews. So is that what's happening now because of COVID?
Yeah. So obviously it put us on hold for a while because almost every job that we do involves a casting. And you walk into it, you walk into the casting room and there is a room full of people. Well, obviously you can't do that under the circumstances.
Right.
So what casting directors are doing now, what clients are doing now is they're doing what's called self-tape auditions. And basically, the model or the actor, I send them the information that they want on the tape and they just tape it from home. And then they send it in, they upload it, and then what the casting director does is they go through all those tapes, and then they have a virtual callback, similar to what we're doing now. And they will do the callback that way, and then the client looks at the tapes, and then they decide. And then what they're doing is all the studios and on set, they're taking all the CDC precautions as far as gloves, masks, they're wiping everything down, they're keeping people 6 foot apart. Now, obviously, if it's group scenes in the commercial, they're having to postpone those.
Right.
But there are still some jobs that can be done. In fact, the one that my models did yesterday, which is interesting, that started out as a different commercial, and they basically adapted it to work so that they could shoot it now because it's got to be out by a certain time. So the premise of the commercial now is I had one model who portrayed a news anchor, and the other models are calling into this news station and asking questions.
Oh, I see.
So
they're being creative.
Exactly. So they wanted the models to look like they were calling from home because they were supposed to be calling in. And so that's what they're doing. They're adapting, as much as they can. Now, I won't lie. I had 2 booked projects that got canceled right when this opened up. Before people were kind of seeing how long it was going to last. Mm-hmm. Those have not come to fruition as of yet. So, I see. But yeah, everybody's adapting, just like every other business. A lot of self-tape auditions. I'm doing either FaceTime interviews or phone interviews because I'm taking the time to bring on more people so that when the business does open up,
then you're ready.
I'm ready for it. Exactly. Getting their pictures, and the photographers that I use, they're taking all the CDC guidelines as well. They're doing masks. They're doing gloves, they're wiping their studios down, and then the model's never on set. You're never within 6 feet of the photographer anyway. So they're only shooting one person at a time. So, we're
making it happen.
We're making it happen. We're a business like any other business, and we've been affected like any other business. So, we just have to do what we have to do until this is over.
Well, congratulations. You are just a rock star. Seriously.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I appreciate you having a lot of time for us. I'm going to add in all of your social media information in the post.
Okay, perfect.
But if you want to let everyone know your Instagram information right now, you can. Okay. Make sure it's in the post.
Okay. For the agency, it's at Naturally Fit Agency. And for my personal one, it's at Style Guy, STYLEGUY _62.
And you style people, you get people ready for pageants and stuff like that too. Is it something you do kind of separate from the agencies? You're so modern, Jeff.
Yes, I started out as a wardrobe stylist, which in the modeling industry basically means I would pull wardrobe together from models. And then I worked for about 7 years for Academy Sports and Outdoors. And I would book photo shoots for them. And I did everything from pull the wardrobe, style the wardrobe, book the models, book the location, on-set art direction. I was basically a one-man show, which is set up there. So so that's always been something that I've done for myself. And I've got friends who will have me. Lori's one who sends me photos before she goes on a date. Which one of these 3 outfits should I wear? And, and I'm like, okay, that dress, the shoes from this one, and, the hair like this. And so I also work closely with with Miss Academy, which is a training school for girls who want to be in pageants. It's run by Crystal Stewart. And she also owns the Miss Houston USA pageant, which I also work with. And basically I help with wardrobe there as well. And then I'm also on a review panel, which basically means when the girls are getting ready for the pageant about 4 to 6 weeks out, we do a mock interview. We do a mock swimsuit competition and a mock evening gown competition. And I'm one of 3 people. Yeah. So I'm one of 3 people who critique them just like we would if we were at the pageant. And then I've also done some judging. I've judged pageants before. In fact, in July, I am going to be the judge of the fitness competition for the Miss Kima pageant as well.
Okay.
Kima. So yeah, I still stay busy with that as well. In all honesty, I mean, fashion, the modeling industry, it all kind of ties in together.
Right.
Correct. And I think if you have the skill set for it, then it kind of leads itself into others. So I've been fortunate. Through, connections. Crystal, who owns those 2 businesses, was one of my models at one time. And so, the thing about the fashion industry, especially in a city like Houston, it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
The photographers that were around when I started are still photographers. Some of them have moved on to art directors. Models are now photographers, or models are now stylists. So once you establish yourself in the business, which I've been fortunate that I've been able to do that, the network is just huge.
I love hearing about this, because these are transitions and swerves within your career, and this is expected of people. They evolve and they turn themselves into other things. So
exactly, yeah. When
this is such good information.
Yeah, well, when people say don't burn a bridge, I have come across. I have at different times in my career, I've been an employee of an agency and then turned around and was a client that the agency had to work for.
Right.
I was a partner with an agent who is now a casting director who I have to work with. So had I ruined relationships and just, left destruction in my wake, I would be left out of those situations at this point. So, because
they could easily say, I don't want to work with him.
That's right. That's exactly. And people do it all the time. And so I'm also a representation of my agency, not just my models. Mm-hmm. So they're getting work based largely on my reputation in this business. So you have to take that in consideration. It's not just me I'm talking about. I represent an entire agency of people. So yeah, don't burn a bridge.
Right.
Don't burn it.
Well, we're gonna end on that note, because I think that's a very good lesson to learn. Heard it from the one and only Jeff Smith. Thank you so much for your time. Okay.
Thank you, Shay.
I'll be talking to you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.